listening to the body instead of directing it and pushing it to do what I wanted it to do, but instead with the micro movements, engaging in connecting with the sensations as a form of communication. The body is talking to me. That if there is a pleasure, can we just stay there a little bit longer? Or if there's too much tightness, how can I move myself, even if it's weird, even if I look like a spaghetti, right? To let and give space for the body to do what it has millions of years of training to do, which is to reestablish homeostasis. And so what I started to learn through this process is that it's not my sole responsibility towards well-being. I don't have to be vigilant and making the decisions. That there's actually a collective evolutionary wisdom accumulated in these cells that host me. That if I just get out of the way and allow, they will actually move me back into alignment. This started to become my journey back into repairing the relationship to the body. And in that repair of the relationship, I started to have more access to who I was when I was younger. Not to the personality, but to the sovereignty, the being truly how I wanted to show up without apologizing or justifying. It's a level of reconnection that I don't think I would have been able to do through some kind of cognitive way, like a traditional therapy, for example. That's what worked for me. But the real value, I think, in allowing ourselves every day to have an uninhibited moment, meaning we're not suppressing anything for fear of someone seeing us, judging us, or even judging ourselves, but just allowing, giving permission to whatever surges to move through. Not only am I allowing the body, or the body's allowing me to return to homeostasis, but I'm also starting to develop the evidence for the faith that there's something much larger than what I can understand, and that's what's conscious to me. That's part of the equation. And I'm not meaning that in some kind of woo-woo way, like it's the universe or whatever. I'm meaning that I know so little and I'm taking on so much responsibility for the outcome. And that I have built within me so much somatic wisdom and emotional wisdom, and organismic wisdom, that is always overseeing what's happening and trying to guide me into well-being. The permissiveness is key, because the permissiveness that we start to practice in these sessions, where we allow ourselves, if there's a groan that's coming up, that we fully express that sound. If there is a moan from a stretch that feels good, that we say it, we hear it, right? There's no suppression, there's no inhibition. This is starting to generate a different reference point for what we can have. It's the true allowing. And in the true allowing, there's safety. When there's no right or wrong, when there's no needing to be someone, when there is a place where I don't need to be vigilant, I can start tasting what safety is like. And the more I start to spend time in this state, in this place, the more that becomes a pervasive reference point for what is always available in my life. Even as I get caught in stories, or I get put back into the relative world of my to-dos and my list and I forget. It's almost like a muscle memory that starts to develop by coming back over and over. So I actually highly recommend movement as part of a mindfulness practice, and that it be completely free, so that there's no way in particular to do it. There's no planning. And there will be moments where there will be not knowing. And so I might be moving very slowly and enjoying the stretch that's happening. And I can feel all of the muscles and bones and joints that are interacted with that. And I might become really interested. And then there will be another moment where I just get lost. And then I come back and I don't know what to do next. And if I wait long enough and I don't give into the panic of having to push the next movement forward, the natural inclination is the body at some point will adjust again, because the body's always wanting to adjust. Standing still or being still for too long after a while becomes painful. The blood doesn't flow as well, right? The muscles get fatigued. And so the body is constantly trying to adjust in these micro movements. And oftentimes in meditation, we think we need to be still, because that is the traditional training, is to stay still. And there's a value in that. There's a value in staying disciplined and not giving in all the time to a compulsion to have something else happen, or to, if there's discomfort, immediately go towards seeking relief. But there's also something really valuable to be very indulgent. Allow ourselves to indulge into what is wanted and see where that takes us. So the movement practice can be an entire world in itself. But what I have found is that not only has it offered me the exposure to how permissiveness brings me closer back to myself, and how the lack of the need to be in control, having a place where I can be completely uninhibited, offers a reference point of what safety tastes like. But it also is a mindfulness practice of making deep contact with our bodies and sensations, and allowing it to inform us of what the next step is. So it might be simple practice, but it has a profound potential for learning.